Okay, it's time to talk about our very last habitat that we will talk about together. Now, I don't know about you, but I love exploring different places in the world. It is just so much fun to hear about oceans and prairies and deserts and places the animals live. God is the perfect creator. He knew exactly which plant to put in which country. He knew which animal to put in which country. Wouldn't it be kind of scary and crazy if a jaguar was walking down our street? I don't think jaguars belong here. But we're used to seeing things like deer or turkeys. Now, what we're going to talk about today is another special continent. So I hope you have your habitat book and you are ready to talk about the rainforest. Now, before we begin, let's go ahead and review our continents. Earth has 7 continents. I can name them all. North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, Antarctica. Now, the first habitat we talked about was the ocean that takes up half of the world. Then we talked about the prairie, which is mostly in North America. And then after that, we talked about the desert, which is in Arizona and places like Australia and Asia. Now today we're going to talk about a very special habitat. This habitat is called the rainforest. Look at this rainforest. Now, a rainforest is very, very special. Now, something that's special about a rainforest is there is so much green. There are green trees, there are green plants, and this background here should probably even be green because guess what? The plants grow on top of each other. There are just so many trees. Now, there are lots of different things that live in a rainforest. There are tons of butterflies and beetles, monkeys, frogs, and different plants that you and I have never seen before. So what I'd like us to do is tell you a little bit about these rainforests. So get out your question sheet so that you can answer while I'm telling you about rainforests. Now, this is what we need to do now, okay? I want you to write down special things you hear. Now, a rainforest can be found all over the world. Not in America, though, for the most part. Rainforests can be found in the middle of Africa, called Central Africa, also some in Northern Africa, and Asia. Here along the bottom of Asia are a lot of rainforests. There are also some over here in Central America. Okay, so those places are full of plants, like I said. The forests are thick. They're not like our forests. Our forests are thick, but a little drier. The forests that I'm talking about, rainforests, they are wet and they are warm. It does not get cold there, barely at all. It is very warm there, hot and humid. So there in the rainforests, because there are so many plants, the rainforests actually produce oxygen for our world. That's how plants work, and maybe sometime we'll be able to watch a video about that. So the plants hold oxygen that they release into the air. And actually, rainforests have over half of the world's plants in them. That's a lot of plants. So it's lush and warm and wet there. Tall trees grow there because they have to compete with the plants on the ground to get the sun. So do you know what they do? God made these trees to grow super, super tall. Some of the trees are over 200 feet tall. 200 feet is really tall. Miss Juvenile is only 5 feet tall. 5 feet and 4 inches. That is not a lot compared to 200 feet. Oh my. Now, what kind of animals live in rainforests? Lots of animals. Butterflies and beetles and ants, and there's probably a lot of spiders and reptiles like lizards and frogs, and they have toucans and parrots and sloths and monkeys that live up in the canopy. A canopy is the very highest part of the trees. The trees are so strong that they can hold monkeys up there. Monkeys and jaguars. Jaguars also climb up into the trees to sleep there. So the food there that the animals eat are plants and insects and fruits. Monkeys love fruit. They eat a lot of fruit off those trees, and then the jaguars will eat the smaller animals. So there are a lot of other animals and things that I didn't mention in that rainforest. So you should have most of your question answers, but let's go over them, okay? Number 1, what is the weather like here? Push pause and write down what the weather is like. Number 2, who lives here? I want you to try to think of someone I didn't mention to write down. Go ahead and push pause and tell me who lives in the rainforest. Number 3, what do they eat? So I want you to answer those questions for me, and then keep your papers together. And what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you in the next video how you're going to put that sheet together and the last thing that you need to do. All right?